What would you do if helping a stranger cost you everything you'd ever worked for? Your dream job. Your family's survival. Your one shot at escaping poverty. Would you still stop? Because I'm about to tell you about someone who did, and what happened next will restore your faith in the world. Or maybe it'll just break your heart first. Either way, you need to hear this. The rain came down like the sky was trying to drown the earth. Jamal Davis stood on the shoulder of Highway 40, 18 minutes from the interview that was supposed to change his life. Water hammered his shoulders. His cheap thrift store suit stuck to his skin like a second layer of disappointment. 15 feet away, an elderly man knelt in the mud next to a silver Mercedes, struggling with a tire iron that kept slipping from his shaking hands. Cars flew past. Hundreds of them. A woman in a Tesla slowed down just long enough to film the whole scene through her window, then drove off. Some guy in a pickup truck honked and yelled something Jamal couldn't make out over the rain. Nobody stopped. Not one person. Jamal checked his phone. 8:42 in the morning. The interview at Crawford & Associates started at 9 sharp. Downtown was 12 minutes away if traffic was light. If he ran to the next exit right now, caught a cab, showed up breathless but on time, he might still have a shot. Might. The old man looked up. Their eyes met across the rain and the rushing traffic. And in that moment, Jamal knew his life was about to change. He just didn't know if it would be for better or worse. He stepped toward the Mercedes. 6 hours earlier, Jamal's alarm went off at 2:47 in the morning. He'd been awake since midnight anyway, staring at the water-stained ceiling of the basement apartment in West Side, the neighborhood where broken streetlights stayed broken and police sirens were basically the local radio station. The kind of place people moved through but never moved up from. The apartment was maybe 14 feet by 18. Kitchen in one corner, bathroom the size of a closet, mattress on the floor. His mom slept on the pull-out couch near the only window, her breathing rough and ragged from the pneumonia she couldn't shake because she couldn't afford the medicine the doctor prescribed. Jamal got up quietly, moved through the darkness like a ghost. The eviction notice hung on the mini fridge, held there by a pizza magnet that said, "You've tried the rest, now try the best." The irony wasn't lost on him. Final notice. Amount due, $2,400. Pay by April 28 or vacate premises. 14 days. Jamal had been counting them down like a prisoner marking time on a cell wall. On the folding table next to the couch, his mom's medical bills formed a stack that seemed to grow every week. Jamal had organized them by date, smallest to largest, like that somehow made them less terrifying. The top bill showed the balance in angry red numbers. $18,750. 3 hospital visits, 2 emergency room admissions, 1 ambulance ride she'd begged them not to call. No insurance. Payment plan denied. He filled the electric kettle. Made instant coffee with no sugar because they'd run out last week and there wasn't money for more. The suit hung on the bathroom door. Navy blue, slightly too big in the shoulders. $12.99 from Goodwill's clearance rack. He'd steamed it over the shower yesterday, trying to make it look professional. The collar was frayed, but from a distance maybe nobody would notice. He showered in 4 minutes flat. The building's hot water ran out fast, and the last thing he needed was ice-cold water before the most important day of his life. Shaved with a disposable razor that had seen better days. His reflection in the foggy mirror looked older than 24. Westside did that to people. Ground you down before you ever got a chance to rise up. But today was different. Today was Crawford & Associates. Jamal had applied to 43 companies over the past 6 months. 42 rejections. Most didn't even bother responding. A few sent those cold, automated emails. "We've decided to move forward with other candidates." Translation: "You're not good enough." Then 3 weeks ago the call came. "Mr. Davis, this is Amanda Martinez from Crawford & Associates. We'd like to invite you for an interview. Junior financial analyst position. $85,000 starting salary." Jamal had been standing in the McDonald's parking lot where he worked nights, phone pressed to his ear, completely unable to form words. "Mr. Davis? Are you there?" "Yes. Yes, ma'am." "Thank you." Crawford & Associates. The most prestigious financial firm in the state. Glass Tower downtown. Clients whose names appeared in Forbes and Fortune. The kind of place where kids from West Side with state school degrees and gaps in their resumes didn't get interviews. But somehow, impossibly, he had. He'd spent 3 weeks preparing. Borrowed books from the library on financial modeling. Watched YouTube videos on corporate interview techniques until he could recite them in his sleep. Memorized answers to behavioral questions. Practiced his handshake in the mirror until it felt confident without being aggressive. His mom had watched him rehearse last night, her voice thin but proud. Baby, you're going to do amazing. You're the smartest person I know. Jamal had smiled, but inside, fear coiled tight around his chest like a snake. One chance. That's all this was. One shot to prove he belonged in rooms he'd only seen in movies and TV shows. At 7:15 he kissed his mom's forehead. She stirred but didn't wake. He left a note on the table. Interview at 9. Love you. Jay. The bus stop was 4 blocks away through streets that were just starting to wake up. Corner stores opening their metal gates. Men heading to construction sites. At 8:38 the bus finally lurched forward. The downtown skyline appeared through the rain like a mirage. Gray towers reaching into darker clouds. Jamal's phone buzzed. Text from his best friend DeAndre. You got this, bro, show them who you are. Jamal typed back quickly. On my way. The bus took the downtown exit. 2 more stops. Jamal stood up, gripping the handrail, watching the city blur past through rain-streaked windows. Then he saw it. The silver Mercedes. Hazard lights blinking. An elderly man kneeling in the rain, struggling with a tire. And every single car just flying past like he didn't exist. Jamal pressed the stop button. The bus hissed to a halt at the next exit. He stepped off into the rain and started walking back. What are you doing? The voice in his head screamed. You're going to miss everything. Your one chance. Your family's survival. Everything. But his feet kept moving. The old man looked up as Jamal approached, water streaming down his face. He looked confused, grateful, desperate. Need some help, sir? The man tried to speak, but his voice cracked. He just nodded. Jamal knelt in the mud. The water soaked through his pants instantly. His suit was getting destroyed. He didn't care. He gripped the lug wrench and started working. That's when the black SUV pulled up. Window rolled down. Some guy in his 30s, polo shirt, gold watch, expensive sunglasses despite the storm. Are you insane? The driver shouted over the rain. Jamal didn't look up. He fitted the wrench to the first lug nut and pulled hard. It loosened. You're throwing your life away for some random old dude. The nut came free. Jamal moved to the next one. I'm serious, man. Look at you. You're dressed for something important. You really gonna blow it for this? Jamal's hands were black with road grime and mud. Water dripped from his hair into his eyes. He said absolutely nothing. Just kept working. The SUV driver pulled out his phone, started recording. This is wild. Y'all seeing this? My man out here playing superhero in a hurricane. He laughed, sharp and mocking. Bet you $50 he regrets this in an hour. Jamal felt the weight of that phone lens on him. The judgment. The mockery. He kept working anyway. The wrench slipped. Fell into a puddle of muddy water. The driver's laughter got louder. There it is. Jamal reached down. His fingers closed around the cold metal. Pulled it out. Wiped it on his soaking wet pants. Kept going. 3 minutes later the spare tire was on. Jamal tightened the final lug nut and stood up. His knees ached. His suit was completely ruined. His one good outfit destroyed. The old man stepped forward, reaching for his wallet with shaking hands. Please let me give you something. Gas money at least. Jamal shook his head. You're all set, sir. Drive safe. The man's eyes held his for a long moment. Something passed between them. Gratitude. Confusion. Deep respect. Then Jamal turned and ran. Ran toward the downtown exit in the pouring rain, shoes splashing through puddles, suit clinging to him like a second skin. Behind him, the SUV driver was already uploading the video. The caption read, "Watch this fool miss his future for a stranger. R.I.P. to his career." Jamal burst through the glass doors of Crawford and Associates at 9:47 in the morning. Water pooled beneath his shoes on the pristine marble floor. His suit looked like he'd gone swimming in it. Mud streaked his pants. The portfolio folder he'd spent hours preparing was soaked through, the cream-colored paper inside dissolving into mush. The lobby was massive. 30-foot ceilings. Recessed lighting. The quiet hum of expensive air conditioning. Everything screamed money and power and people who didn't show up looking like drowned rats. A security guard near the elevators glanced at him, then quickly looked away, like Jamal's failure might be contagious. Jamal approached the reception desk. The woman behind it wore a crisp white blouse and pearl earrings. Her eyes traveled from his face down to his ruined shoes, and the disgust on her face was barely concealed. "I'm Jamal Davis," he said, breathless. "I have a 9 o'clock interview with—" "You're late." Her voice could have— Mrs. Patterson was sweeping her porch 3 doors down from his building. 72 years old. Had lived in West Side her entire life. Knew everyone's business before they knew it themselves. Jamal. She lowered her broom. Why you home so early, baby? Thought you had that big interview. I did. He kept walking. Didn't work out. Her face softened with genuine sympathy. Oh honey, I'm so sorry. Jamal didn't trust himself to respond. He climbed the exterior stairs to the basement entrance, keys shaking in his hand. Inside, the apartment was dim. His mom sat at the folding table, head in her hands. A new envelope lay open in front of her. Jamal closed the door quietly. Mama? She looked up. Her eyes were red from crying. What happened? She pushed the paper toward him with a trembling hand. Jamal picked it up. West Side Medical Center. Past due notice. Account sent to collections. Amount, $18,750. Additional fees, $1,200. Total owed, $19,950. They called this morning, his mom said, voice cracking. Said if I don't pay something by Friday, they're taking me to court. Garnish my disability checks. Jamal's throat closed. His mom received $800 a month. Rent was $1,400. Food, medicine, utilities. They were already drowning. He sat down across from her. The ruined suit pressed cold and wet against his skin. The interview, she said. How did, she stopped. Looked at him. Really looked at his destroyed clothes. Baby, what happened to you? There was a man on the side of the road. Flat tire. He needed help. So you stopped? Yeah. And you were late. Jamal nodded. His mom closed her eyes. A tear slipped down her cheek. And they turned you away. Yeah. Silence filled the small room. Outside, a siren wailed past. Footsteps echoed in the hallway above their heads. Then his mom reached across the table and took his hand in both of hers. You did the right thing. Jamal's vision blurred. Mama, we're about to be homeless. I don't care. Her grip tightened. You hear me? I don't care. You stop because that's who you are. That's who I raised. She pulled his hand to her chest, held it there. Jobs come and go, baby. But your character? That's yours forever. Nobody can take that away from you. Jamal's chest heaved. He hadn't cried in years. Since he was a kid. But now the dam broke completely. He bent forward, forehead on the table, shoulders shaking. His mom stood. Wrapped her arms around him. Held him while he fell completely apart. You did right by that man, she whispered. That's all that matters in this world. They stayed like that for 5 minutes. Then Jamal's phone buzzed in his pocket. He ignored it. It buzzed again. A call this time. Jamal pulled it out, ready to silence it. Unknown number. Probably a collector calling about the bills. He let it go to voicemail. 10 seconds later, the notification appeared. He hit play on speaker. Mr. Davis, this is Caroline from Crawford and Associates. Mr. Robert Crawford would like to speak with you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Please call this number to confirm. Thank you. Jamal stared at the phone like it had just spoken in a foreign language. His mom stared at him. Who, she said slowly, is Robert Crawford? Jamal's hands started trembling. The CO. Look, I'm going to pause here for just a second. Because what happens next is going to sound like a movie. Like one of those feel-good stories that's too perfect to be true. But I promise you this is real. Every word of it. Jamal called back within 2 minutes. The receptionist answered on the first ring. Different voice from this morning. Warmer. Professional. Yes, Mr. Davis. Mr. Crawford has you scheduled for 9 a.m. tomorrow. 15th floor executive suite. Please arrive 10 minutes early. Can I ask? Jamal hesitated. What is this regarding? Mr. Crawford will explain everything tomorrow. Have a good day, sir. The line went dead. Jamal sat there staring at his phone like it might explode. His mom watched him, hope and fear mixing on her face in equal measure. You're going right? I don't know what this is. Only one way to find out. 20 minutes later, DeAndre showed up. Jamal had texted him the news, and his best friend since 3rd grade stood in the doorway shaking his head. Bro, this is a prank. Has to be. The receptionist sounded real. They always do. That's the whole point. DeAndre dropped onto the couch. Think about it. You show up late, soaking wet, they kick you out. Now the CEO wants to meet? That doesn't happen in real life. Rich people don't call back poor people who mess up. Then what do I do? Protect yourself. Don't go. You'll just get humiliated again. But Jamal was already on his phone, searching. Robert Crawford CO. Crawford and Associates. The results loaded. Forbes profile. LinkedIn. Company bio. Robert James Crawford. Age 73. Founded Crawford and Associates in 1984. Net worth estimated at $340 million. Board member of 3 hospitals. Philanthropist. Widower. The photo showed an elderly white man in a gray suit, standing in front of the downtown tower. Sharp eyes. Thin smile. Jamal zoomed in on the face. His stomach dropped through the floor. What? DeAndre leaned over. Jamal's voice came out hollow. That's him. Who? The man with the flat tire. DeAndre grabbed the phone. Stared at the screen. Looked at Jamal like he'd just admitted to seeing ghosts. You're telling me you stopped for a billionaire? I didn't know. And now he wants to meet. Jamal took the phone back. Read the bio again. Decorated veteran. Built his company from nothing. Known for unorthodox hiring practices. Maybe this wasn't a prank. Maybe this was something else entirely. That evening, Jamal ironed his backup shirt. Light blue, missing a button at the cuff, but it was all he had. Polished his only other pair of dress shoes. Set his alarm for 6 a.m. DeAndre left, still shaking his head in disbelief. Jamal's mom squeezed his shoulder. Whatever happens tomorrow, you already won. Jamal wasn't sure he believed that. But at 8:30 that night, he lay in the dark, staring at the ceiling, heart pounding with something that felt dangerously close to hope. Jamal arrived at Crawford and Associates at 8:47 the next morning. This time he wore the blue shirt. His shoes were polished until they almost looked new. His hands didn't shake when he pushed through those massive glass doors. The lobby looked different in morning light. Less imposing. Almost welcoming. A few employees crossed toward the elevators with coffee in hand, absorbed in their phones. The reception desk was empty. Then a door behind it opened. A young woman emerged. Mid-20s. Professional black dress. Mr. Davis? Yes. She smiled. Genuine warmth. I'm Caroline. Mr. Crawford is expecting you. Please follow me. No metal detector. No security guard looking at him like he didn't belong. Caroline swiped a key card and led him to a private elevator Jamal hadn't even noticed yesterday. Brushed steel doors. Unmarked. They rode in silence. The elevator climbed. Past the 10th floor. Past the 12th. 15. The doors opened onto a completely different world. Floor-to-ceiling windows. Hardwood floors that probably cost more than Jamal's entire building. Abstract art on the walls. Originals, not prints. Everything smelled like expensive furniture polish and old money. Caroline gestured down a hallway. Last door on the left. He's waiting. Jamal walked. His footsteps echoed. The hallway was lined with framed photos. Charity events. Ribbon cuttings. Robert Crawford shaking hands with mayors and senators and people whose faces Jamal recognized from TV. The last door was solid mahogany. Double width. Brass handle. Jamal knocked. Come in. He pushed the door open. The office stretched 30 feet deep. Bookshelves covered one entire wall. Law texts. Financial regulations. Leather-bound classics that looked like they'd never been read. A massive mahogany desk sat near the far window, the entire city skyline spreading behind it like a painting. And behind that desk, rising from a leather chair, was the man from the roadside. Robert Crawford. Gray suit. White hair perfectly combed. The same sharp eyes from the Forbes photo, but softer now. Measuring Jamal with something that looked almost like curiosity. He stepped around the desk. Moved slowly, not frail, just careful. Extended his hand. Mr. Davis. Thank you for coming. Jamal stood frozen in the doorway. His brain couldn't reconcile the images. The old man kneeling in the rain. The CEO in a $3,000 suit. The helpless stranger. The man who built an empire. Crawford's hand stayed extended. Jamal stepped forward. Shook it. The grip was firm. Please, Crawford said, gesturing to 2 comfortable armchairs in front of the desk. Not the stiff interview chairs from HR. These looked like they belonged in someone's home. Sit. Jamal lowered himself into the chair. His throat was completely dry. Crawford returned to his desk but didn't sit. He stood at the window looking out at the city for a long moment. Rain streaked the glass. The sky was gray again. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet. Do you know why you're here? Jamal's mouth opened. Close. No, sir. Crawford turned. Yesterday morning I had a flat tire on Highway 40. Probably hit something in the road. Nailed debris, who knows. The rain made it worse. I pulled onto the shoulder and called my roadside service. He walked to his desk. Leaned against it, arms crossed. 47 cars passed me before you stopped. Jamal said nothing. I counted them, Crawford continued. 47 people saw an old man in trouble and decided it wasn't their problem. They had places to be, things to do. They were dry. I was wet. Simple math. He paused. But you stopped. The silence stretched. Outside, the city hummed with distant sirens and construction and life continuing. Inside this office, time seemed suspended. Crawford's eyes never left Jamal's face. Why? Jamal met his gaze. Because someone needed help. That's it. Yes, sir. Crawford tilted his head slightly. You were on your way to the most important interview of your life. You knew being late would cost you the opportunity. And still you stopped. Why? The question felt like a trap, but Jamal couldn't see where the teeth were. My mother raised me to help people when they need it. That's just what you do. Even when it costs you everything? Yes. Why? Jamal's jaw tightened. He'd spent the entire night wondering the same thing. Wondering if he was just an idiot. If kindness was just another word for self-destruction in a world that didn't care. Because, he said slowly, choosing each word carefully, if I walked past you to save my own future, I wouldn't be someone I could respect. The job wouldn't mean anything if I had to become someone else to get it. Crawford studied him for a long moment. Then he walked back to his desk. Opened a drawer. Pulled out, skills can be taught, Mr. Davis. Experience can be gained. But character? He tapped the folder. Character reveals itself when everything's on the line. Jamal couldn't breathe. That's why you're here. Crawford straightened. His voice shifted. Still warm but now carrying weight. I didn't call you back for the junior financial analyst position. The words hit Jamal like ice water. His chest hollowed out instantly. The fragile hope he'd been nursing for the past 24 hours crumbled into dust. He'd known it was too good to be true. Men like Robert Crawford didn't offer second chances to people like him. This was a lesson. A moral story. You did the right thing, son. Now go be poor with dignity. Jamal forced himself to nod. I understand. Do you? You wanted to thank me. Tell me I have character. I appreciate that, Mr. Crawford. I really do. Crawford's expression didn't change. He reached into his desk drawer again. Pulled out a second folder. Thicker than the first. Set it on the desk. But didn't open it. The silence stretched. 10 seconds. 15. Jamal could hear his own heartbeat thundering in his ears. Outside the window, a helicopter passed. Its blades thumped against the gray sky. Crawford's hand rested on the folder. His fingers drummed once. Twice. Jamal gripped the armrest of his chair. His palms were slick with sweat. He wanted to stand. To leave before the pity became unbearable. But his legs wouldn't cooperate. That analyst position, Crawford said slowly, pays $85,000 a year. It's a good job. Stable. Respectable. Jamal waited. But it's not what you need, sir. Crawford's eyes locked onto his. I'm not offering you that job, Mr. Davis. The floor seemed to tilt beneath Jamal's chair. I'm offering you something else. Crawford's hand stayed on the folder. He didn't open it. Didn't move. The rain picked up outside. Water ran down the windows and rivers. Jamal's voice came out barely above a whisper. What? Something better. What could possibly be worth more than that job? Crawford opened the folder. Inside was a single document. Type. Professional. A contract. He slid it across the desk. Special assistant to the CEO. You'll work directly with me. Shadow my meetings. Learn how this company operates from the inside out. I'll mentor you personally. Strategy. Finance. Leadership. Negotiation. Everything business schools charge $200,000 to teach. You'll learn firsthand. Jamal stared at the paper. The words blurred together. I don't understand. It's simple. I need someone I can trust. Someone who makes decisions based on values, not convenience. That's rare in this industry. But I'm not qualified. You're exactly qualified. Crawford's voice was firm. You think the people who work here got their positions because they're good people? Half of them would have driven right past me without slowing down. They're smart, efficient, ruthless when they need to be. But character? He shook his head. That can't be taught in any classroom. Jamal's hands trembled as he pulled the contract closer. Position, special assistant to the CEO. Starting salary, $72,000 annually. Performance review, 6 months, Tier 2 promotion potential. Senior associate, $95,000. Tier 3 promotion potential. Junior partner track, $120,000 plus. Benefits, full medical, dental, vision. 401k match. Start date, April 21st, 2024. 6 days from now. This is real, Jamal's voice cracked. As real as the rain you stood in yesterday. Jamal read the contract again. The numbers didn't change. $72,000. More money than he'd ever imagined making. More than his mom earned in 3 years. I'll be honest with you, Mr. Davis. Crawford sat back in his chair. This won't be easy. You'll work long hours. You'll be in rooms with people who have Ivy League degrees and family connections. Some of them will doubt you. Some will resent you. You'll have to prove yourself every single day. I can do that. I know you can. That's why you're here. Jamal looked up. But why? Why me? Crawford was quiet for a moment. Then he stood, walked to the window, looked out at the city. I've been doing this for 40 years. Built this company from nothing. Hired hundreds of people. And in all that time, I've learned one thing that matters more than anything else. He turned. Talent is common. Integrity is not. He stepped closer. Yesterday, 47 people had the exact same opportunity you did. 47 people saw someone in need and made a choice. They chose themselves. Their schedules. Their comfort. Their dry clothes. Crawford's eyes held Jamal's. But you? You chose to help a stranger. You chose to sacrifice something you'd worked for, something that mattered desperately to you because it was the right thing to do. Not for recognition. Not for reward. You didn't even know who I was. His voice softened. That's who I want in my company. That's who I want learning from me. Not the smartest person in the room. The most honest one. Jamal's throat burned. He tried to speak but no words would come. Crawford extended his hand. So what do you say, Mr. Davis? Do we have a deal? Jamal stood. Took Crawford's hand. Shook it firmly. Yes, sir. We have a deal. Crawford's grip was warm. Strong. Then he smiled. The first real smile Jamal had seen from him. Good. Now there's something else. He checked his watch. We have a company-wide meeting in 20 minutes. Town hall. Every employee attends. I want you there. Jamal's stomach dropped. Today? Right now? Mr. Crawford, I'm not even dressed for. You're dressed fine. Crawford walked toward the door. Come on. Look, I need you to understand something. What happened next changed everything. Watch this fool miss his future for a stranger. Jamal wanted to disappear. Wanted the floor to open up and swallow him whole. But the room stayed silent. Watching. The video ended. Crawford turned off the screen. That young man arrived here 47 minutes late. Soaked. Covered in mud. And our HR department turned him away. Eyes shifted. Someone coughed. Jamal saw Amanda Martinez standing near the back, her face pale. But that young man, Crawford continued, is exactly who we should be hiring. He gestured toward Jamal. Mr. Jamal Davis, please join me. Jamal's legs barely worked. He climbed the steps. Stood beside Crawford under the bright lights. 200 faces stared at him. Jamal didn't know who I was, Crawford said. He didn't stop because he thought it would benefit him. He stopped because someone needed help. And that is the standard I want this company to reflect. Scattered applause started. Then more. Then the entire room was standing, clapping, the sound washing over Jamal like a wave he wasn't prepared for. Crawford raised a hand. The room quieted. Effective immediately, Crawford and associates will implement a character assessment initiative. We will evaluate candidates not just on resumes and test scores, but on integrity, on values, on the choices they make when no one is watching. The applause returned. Louder this time. Jamal stood frozen, barely breathing. Amanda Martinez remained in the back, motionless, watching. Crawford wasn't finished. He opened a leather portfolio on the podium, pulled out more documents. Before I offered Jamal this position, I did my due diligence. I wanted to know if yesterday was an anomaly or a pattern. He held up the first paper. Jamal graduated from State University with a 3.7 GPA. Dean's List 3 semesters. He worked 2 jobs the entire time. Night shifts at McDonald's. Weekend stock at a warehouse. Never missed a class. The room listened. Crawford set down the transcript. Lifted another document. This is a letter from Westside Community Center. For the past 3 years, Jamal has volunteered every Tuesday and Thursday evening, tutoring kids in math and reading. No pay. No credit. He just showed up. Jamal's throat tightened. He'd never told anyone about that. It was just something he did. Crawford continued. The director writes, Jamal Davis is the most reliable volunteer we've ever had. Kids ask for him by name. He's patient, kind, and never makes them feel stupid. He's changed lives in this community. A few people in the audience nodded. One woman wiped her eyes. Crawford placed the letter down, picked up a third paper. Last year, Jamal was working at Thompson's corner store. An elderly customer accidentally gave him $200 extra in cash. The customer didn't notice. What? Come on. We're losing time. She hesitated, then grabbed her bag and climbed into his passenger seat. They made it to the nursing school with 6 minutes to spare. She jumped out, turned back. I don't even know your name. Jamal. He handed her his business card. Jamal Davis, Special Assistant to the CEO, Crawford and Associates. He smiled. When you graduate, call me. We partner with hospitals. We need people like you. She stared at the card. Her eyes filled with tears. Why are you doing this? Jamal's smile widened. Because someone did it for me. He drove away. In the rearview mirror, he saw her standing in the rain, holding that card with both hands. The same look he'd had 1 year ago. The same choice. The same chance. Look, here's what I want you to understand. This isn't just a story about getting a job or helping a stranger. It's about who you choose to be when everything's on the line. When helping someone costs you everything you've worked for. When the easy choice is to keep driving. 47 cars passed Robert Crawford that day. 47 people made a choice that seemed logical, practical, safe. But Jamal? He made a different choice. And it changed his entire life. But here's the thing that matters most. It wasn't the reward that made it worth it. It was the choice itself. Because even if Crawford hadn't been a billionaire CEO, even if there had been no job offer, no second chance, no happy ending, Jamal would still have stopped. That's what character means. Doing the right thing even when it costs you everything. Especially when it costs you everything. So let me ask you something. What would you do? If you saw someone struggling on the side of the road and stopping meant missing your one shot at everything you've ever wanted, would you pull over? Be honest with yourself. Because somewhere, right now, someone needs help. And you're going to have to choose. Will you be one of the 47 who keeps driving? Or will you be the one who stops? If this story hit you in the chest, do me a favor. Share it. Send it to someone who needs to hear it today. Post it. Talk about it. Because we need more people like Jamal in this world. And hey, this week I want you to do something for me. Stop for one person. Just one. Someone who needs help. Someone everyone else is driving past. You never know whose life you might change. You never know how it might change yours. Hit that like button if this story meant something to you. Drop a comment and tell me about a time you stopped to help someone or a time someone stopped to help you. Subscribe if you want more stories that remind you there's still good in this world. Until next time, remember this. Your character is the only thing in life that's truly yours. Everything else can be taken away. But who you choose to be, that's forever. Peace.